Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. This is very late at night as I record this video. I couldn't sleep well tonight. I decided to stay up a little bit and finish up this final Goosebumps book review that I have for right now until the newer releases come out this year. At this current moment, as I sit here in front of you, I have officially read and reviewed every single Goosebumps book right here, my entire collection, all of it, reviewed all the TV episodes from the old 90s series, reviewed everything except for the first movie, which I will do later on, God willing, in the summer probably, because it feels like a very summer movie. But anyway, the final book I had to review was kind of a companion to the R.L. Stine book I just reviewed yesterday, which was called It Came From Ohio, My Life as a Writer, which I have reflections everywhere. This is the R.L. Stine autobiography about his life, his work, his Fear Street stuff, his Goosebumps stuff, everything. It's not even completely centric on Goosebumps. But, however, the companion book here is one that is kind of a rare book to get your hands on. It's one that you don't come by very often on the internet in an earnest posting to be able to get your hands on. I got my copy for like $30, and I was really thankful for that too. I'm really glad and thankful that I was able to find this all those years ago. Been wanting to read this forever, decided to save this, and It Came From Ohio, as the final books to review on the channel, at least till new releases, as I said, because of how special they are. This one is from Tim Jacobus himself, who did every cover for the original 62 books, well, not all of them, but most of them, except for 2 back in the day. Then he did his own versions and the reissues. He also did the Series 2000 book covers, the Tales to Give You Goosebumps covers. He did so many things, a ton of, just a ton of books. I think he did the first ever of the Give Yourself Goosebumps books, as a matter of fact. Anyway, he has an autobiography he put out himself. I'm pretty sure that I read somewhere, because if you look on Goosebumps fan pages, Tim Jacobus is on there, typically. He's a very nice man. I've talked to him once or twice on that page, or one of the pages of Goosebumps fandom. He apparently wrote this book, but I could have sworn I read somewhere that he admitted in a post on that Facebook group or whatever that he didn't write the thing. Maybe he admits to it now, I don't know. But anyway, here we are with It Came From New Jersey, My Life as an Artist by Tim Jacobus. I don't know who wrote the book, but I don't care. It's a really cool cover. I actually like this cover more than the It Came From Ohio book from Stine. This is about 60 pages long, so it's about half the length of a typical Goosebumps book, half the length of the Stine book itself. This was really, really fun. I love the little cover here of like the Jacobus type of monster painting and stuff. Jacobus did this art as well. This is a really solid read. I wouldn't say it's as good as It Came From Ohio, but it's still good. It's good to read about Tim Jacobus. Whether he wrote this or not doesn't really matter to me. This was a fun read. It's something I've looked forward to for so long. It's the last rare book I had to review here for the channel, and it meant a lot to me to be able to experience what Jacobus was like, aside from meeting him a couple of times on the internet. Whether that matters or not, whether that really is meeting somebody or not, it's kind of its own discussion. But anyway, surprisingly enough, this book is filled with colored photos, as in like we have pictures towards the end of the book of fan photos that kids sent to Jacobus in the mail. Throughout the book you have colored pages, you have all kinds of stuff like that. And it feels like a higher quality paper than what you had with It Came From Ohio, the Stine autobiography. This is pretty much a book just about Jacobus talking about his life, his work, mainly how he gets his ideas and his process down for his models and all that stuff when it comes to creating Goosebumps covers. And I thought that was really cool. I had read a little bit about that in another book from a different author called The Art of Goosebumps. I reviewed that here on the channel as well. Really good read. Check it out if you can find a copy, because that has increased in price, oh my god, so heavily. That's as rare as this nowadays. To be a newer book, that's really depressing. Like I said, the book is about 60 pages long. Flies by fairly quick. I started reading this before I went to work today, and I finished it up a little bit ago because I couldn't sleep, as I said. And this was fun. I like Jacobus' writing style. It's very much his own voice, or whoever wrote the book, it's very much their own voice. But I did notice it's kind of a scatterbrained thing. Not to the degree in a weird organized way like It Came From Ohio, the Stine autobiography was, but kind of in its own little way. In the sense of like, it kind of just jumps around on what it wants to talk about from chapter to chapter. And I thought that was a little bizarre because it really didn't fit. It's almost like they didn't have enough information about Jacobus, whether he wrote it or somebody else, whoever wrote this thing. It's almost like they didn't have enough, so they had to spread it not thin, but try to just spread it out to what they could to make it interesting. I don't really know why, but that's how it was executed. It's a little sloppy in that regard. But the Stein one was too, a little bit. Not completely, but I still loved it. I learned a lot about Stein from there, and that's really what I came to these two books for, as companion books, a duology, if you will. It came from New Jersey, to learn about Tim Jacobus, the dude who had made artwork that had brought all of us into reading. There's people like myself who didn't know who R.L. Stein was growing up. Not growing up, until I found Goosebumps with the TV show on the VHS that I found, one of the VHSs that I rented from Hollywood Video back in the 90s or early 2000s, whenever it was. But Jacobus artwork were on those VHS tapes, and they were also on the books, and they made all of us, pretty much, whoever is watching this channel more than likely, it made all of us want to watch or read or anything about these Goosebumps stories. Some of his most iconic works, like The Haunted Mask 1 and 2, Night of the Living Dummy 1, 2, and 3. Just his incredible cover work, dude. Even stuff that shouldn't be that great for a book that sucks, like The Barking Ghost, which I tore into, but the cover always gave me chills growing up when I would see it in my elementary school library. I love Tim Jacobus because he is part of Goosebumps. If it weren't for his covers, I don't think many of us would have been as curious to check out these books. I don't think a lot of adults would have had the kind of conversations they had about banning Goosebumps because of the covers. If they had not been there, I don't think those conversations would have happened. It's fascinating. It really is. The kind of effect and the kind of impact that Jacobus artwork had on this franchise, people don't talk about it enough. And it's sad that he's not involved with Goosebumps as much as he used to be. He really doesn't do covers anymore. He does interviews and stuff. He did the vinyl cover for the CD for the soundtrack of the movie. That's like the only thing he's done in recent years, and that was all the way back in 2015. Of course, he was part of that art book that I talked about, The Art of Goosebumps. But other than that, he really doesn't do much with Goosebumps. And I don't know if that's him choosing to do that, or if it's a scholastic thing. I don't know what it is. But it's kind of a bummer, because this was, of course, released before Series 2000. They even have a reference to Creature Teacher in the book. It's kind of a shame because you don't really know what happened. You know, it's not that it's any of our business, but still, it's kind of a shame because I love Jacobus art. I think, if I'm being honest with you, I think he is as much Goosebumps as Stein is. Stein may write the books, Stein may have the heart and soul on the innards of the books, but Jacobus made the skin of the things. Jacobus made us look at these things in a different way than we'd ever looked at kids' books, ever. You know? It's just really solid as a good book, as an enjoyable book. If you're looking to read for this, read a copy of this, if you find a copy and you haven't read it yet, it's good. I recommend it if you haven't read it before. Reading about Jacobus' life was interesting. It's not as interesting as Stein's life. I hate to sound like that guy. That sounds like a horrible thing to say, but it's just not. So don't be one of those people who pay $100 for this book. It's not worth it. But if you can find it for like 50 maximum, maybe 60, that's not bad as a collector for a rare book that is really hard to find in the Goosebumps franchise. If you can find this on eBay or something for 50 or 60 bucks, check it out. I don't think it's that bad. But otherwise, it's really not worth the money that people will try to convince you that it's worth. But it was good. It was good. It was a fun read. I enjoyed it. Again, not as much as it came from Ohio, the Stein book. But this was good. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fine. Had a good time with it. Again, the colorized photos in here were really nice. Here's one of Jacobus actually working. Look at that dude's arm. Look at that dude's arm. Not as super muscular as it could be, but still, looks cool. I enjoyed the colorized photos in here. I thought that was a really nice touch for this book. It really had a lot to offer about Mr. Jacobus, but I think he deserves better, if I'm being honest with you. Anyway, feels like a marketing thing to make more money off of Goosebumps once upon a time in 1998 when this was released, but it doesn't really matter. Is it a good book? Yeah. Is it entertaining? Yeah, absolutely. Do I like It Came From Ohio more? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. No question about it. That's Stein writing that book, and you could tell it's Stein writing that book. This one, I don't know. It doesn't really matter one way or another, but it doesn't matter. This is a good, solid read, and if I had to rate It Came From New Jersey, My Life as an Artist, by Tim Jacobus, on a 5-star basis, I'd give it like a 4 out of 5 stars. It does its job, it does it well. It's a little sloppy, a little not as engaging as Stein's book, but still engaging nonetheless. I like it. It's got a lot to offer. And if you like Jacobus, if you want to read about the guy, you can pick it up here and read quite a bit. But a lot of his stuff that he put out here, he says on the internet all the time, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, any of that stuff. So don't spend $100 on this book, as I said. Try to avoid that. Pay a reasonable price. Okay? Don't be a typical consumer. Anyway, folks, 4 out of 5 stars for this one. Have you read My Life as an Artist? Or It Came from New Jersey, My Life as an Artist. What do you think about it? I'd love to hear what your thoughts and beliefs about the book are down in the comment section down below. And with that being said, folks, ladies, gentlemen, that is the final book review that I have until newer Goosebumps books get released. Of course, we have one in a couple of weeks, in April. But still, that's it. I've reviewed everything at this point. And you won't see this review until later today when I go to sleep and then wake up and post it before I go to work. It's going to be a very long day at work. I can just tell. It's going to be that kind of thing. But anyway, I want to thank you first and foremost, if you happen to be watching this video, for being here with me right now. This is the last book review I have had for this whole collection for right now. And I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being a part of my life this last 4 years, whether you're newer, whether you're an older viewer, any of that. Young, old, anything. My age, not my age, anything. Thank you for being here. You mean so much to me. And I want to thank you for your support, your love, your comments, all of that. The conversations we've had in the comments over the many years I've been doing this. It means a lot. It means a lot. And I couldn't do this channel without your influence, without your information, your opinions, your ideas, your thoughts, all of that stuff. It means more than you would ever know. For even the smallest, goofiest of videos with the weirdest stuttering from me, yours truly, constantly throughout those videos, I love you and I'm thankful for you guys being around as long as you have. I've now ranked all the book series, I've reviewed all these books, I've reviewed all the episodes, and so on and so on. There is so much that I've done, and not much more that I can do in the future. There are projects here and there. There are things I can talk about here and there. But it feels like my channel has hit such a massive milestone at this point, with about 3,300 subscribers at this point. It's incredible. I can't believe how big this channel's gotten. Not that it's massive, it's not like 100,000 subs or anything, but you guys are such a great community. The Goosebumps community in general is great. I love it. I've always loved it the last 4 years I've been involved with it. But being a content creator for it is a major privilege, a major blessing, and you guys rock. And I want to thank you for being here for so long. All of, again, the love, the support, all of those things, they mean so much, and I hope you know how much those things mean to me. And I hope these book reviews and stuff will be less cringy as time goes on. They probably won't. It is a man almost in his 30s talking about Goosebumps, a children's book series. But it's something I've loved from my very childhood, that I've loved and adored. It's some of the beginnings of my favorite, I guess, loves and obsessions in my life, which were horror. Started by pretty much R.L. Stine and my mom when she showed me Halloween, the old Michael Myers, John Carpenter movie. But this is a milestone. Let's not forget that. This is a milestone of my channel, of maybe Goosebumps. Maybe I'm the only person to ever review every single Goosebumps book. I don't know. David Popovich came pretty close, but here I am, talking about pretty much everything, reviewing pretty much everything. I don't know. But I want to thank you all so much for being here, for being involved in my life, for being involved in each other's lives in the comments. I see you guys comment back and forth to each other sometimes. That's pretty cool too. I just want to thank you all again for being here and for watching, because I really am about the most boring human being you would ever meet. Ever. And still, I think we've all come here out of unity for a thing we all love. Many of us grew up on this. Many of you right now are growing up currently right now with Goosebumps. Hearing people like me who've known about it for a long time talking about it. It's fascinating. Goosebumps gives and gives and gives, and that's so cool. Last year made, what, 30 years it's been around? This is 31 this year. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, man. Anyway, with all that being said, thank you so much, again, for being here. I hope I can do something else pretty cool here recently. I don't know what kind of content I'm thinking of doing next, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Like what I think would be a deserved break. I've been reading Goosebumps book after Goosebumps book forever now, for like months now, to try to round up everything, get it all reviewed and done. and I want a break. So I think I'm going to do that. I don't know what I'm going to do in the meantime. I'm going to play video games, watch movies, maybe make reviews for other channels. I don't know. But I'll get back with you guys eventually. Just give me some time, some little bit of a break, something like that. Anyway, thank you all. God bless you guys. Hopefully you've been able to make a time to check out It Came From New Jersey. Pretty good read. I like it. But even if you haven't, it's a good read, just so you know. Anyway, thank you all. God bless you. Goodbye.